used to think I knew why my cat slept with me. Warmth. Simple as that. Then one winter, I placed a heated pad in the other room, the same temperature as me, a softer surface, quieter. I wanted to see what she would do. She ignored it completely, walked straight to my side, lay down, and stayed there until morning. That night I realized I had been getting the answer wrong for 3 years. When I actually studied this, reading the data, reviewing the footage, going deep into the research, what I found changed the way I see every night she climbs into bed beside me. Stay until the end, because what I discovered last is the most honest thing your cat can say to you, and they are saying it every single night. Here is something most people have never stopped to think about. The warmth explanation feels complete because it is partially true. Cats do seek heat, but it does not answer the more specific question, why you? Specifically, when there are other warm options in the same home. The research on this turns out to be more interesting than most cat owners realize, because the answer is not about temperature. It is about something far more deliberate. The heated pad was not the first time I had noticed this. She had options. In winter, there was a corner by the radiator she used sometimes during the day warmer than me, and no one disturbing her sleep. At night, she never used it. I started keeping notes. Over 4 weeks, I tracked where she slept every single night. The radiator corner. Not once. The window ledge with sunlight and a folded blanket. Not once. Beside me, 28 out of 28 nights. The pattern was too consistent to be random. Researchers studying feline sleep site selection at the University of Queensland found that temperature preference alone does not predict co-sleeping behavior between cats and their owners. Cats in the study consistently chose sleeping proximity to their primary person over warmer, softer, and quieter alternatives when that person was present and accessible. Temperature was a factor in site selection when the person was absent. When the person was present, it was not the dominant variable. She had a warm option without me. She chose me anyway. That distinction, that her choice was not explained by the obvious answer, is exactly what sent me into the research. If your cat passes up warm spots around the house and comes to you anyway, that pattern is not random. Something else is driving it. And the research tells you exactly what that is. But here is where it gets more interesting. The study that changed everything for me came out of Oregon State University in 2019. I had heard about it but had not read it closely until I started taking this question seriously. When I did, I had to go back and read the key finding twice, because the number was higher than I expected, and the implications were more specific than I had realized. In 2019, researchers at Oregon State University ran an attachment study on domestic cats, modeled after the infant attachment experiments used in human developmental psychology. They found that 64% of cats showed secure attachment to their primary person, meaning they used that person as a secure base, sought proximity under mild stress, and returned to calm more quickly when that person was present. The researchers noted that sleeping proximity is one of the clearest behavioral expressions of secure attachment in cats, because sleep requires the animal to lower its threat monitoring systems, something a securely attached cat will only do near a trusted individual. She is not sleeping next to me because I am warm. She is sleeping next to me because at the deepest level her nervous system can register I am safe. It took me a long time to sit with that. If this is making you rethink what is actually happening every night in your home, that is exactly why this channel exists. Your cat sleeping with you every night is not a comfort habit. According to the research, it is one of the clearest signals of secure attachment that a cat can express. They are telling you something in the only way they know how. And science actually backs up what comes next in a way I did not expect. I set up a pet camera for 2 weeks while I was away on a work trip. I wanted to see where she slept when I was completely absent, not just in another room, but gone entirely. The footage showed something I had not anticipated. She used different spots: the radiator corner, the chair, the foot of the bed, but not my side of it. She was never in the exact spot she uses when I am home. When I came back, she was in that spot again on the very first night. Research on scent-based safety behavior in cats shows that cats build what researchers describe as olfactory anchor points, specific locations that carry the concentrated scent signature of their primary attachment figure. These locations are processed differently by the cat's threat assessment system than neutral spaces. When the attachment figure's scent is fresh and strong, the location signals, "No threat present. This is where the safe individual rests." The research found that cats with secure attachment show measurably lower cortisol when resting in their primary person's scent zone, compared to equivalent spaces without that scent. When I was away, she did not sleep in my spot. The spot itself was not the point. I was the point. My scent was the signal. And when I came back and the signal was live again, she returned to it immediately. The reason your cat sleeps pressed against you, or specifically on your side, your pillow, your clothes, is that they are inside the olfactory signature. Their nervous system reads as the safest possible place. You are not just warmth. You are the signal that says, "Nothing here will hurt you." This is the part I wish I had known sooner. This is something I noticed in the camera data that I had not been looking for at all. In the footage from the first months after I adopted her, she was active at night the way cats typically are, moving around, patrolling. By year 2, something had changed. She was asleep when I was asleep. The timestamps in the footage matched mine almost exactly. She had not always been like this. Something had shifted. Research on circadian rhythm adaptation in domestic cats found that cats living with humans gradually shift their peak activity windows to align with their owner's schedule. More specifically, this synchronization is documented primarily in relation to the primary attachment figure, not with secondary household members, not with feeding schedules alone, but with the sleep-wake pattern of the person they have formed the strongest bond with. The researchers describe this as a form of social entrainment, the cat's biological clock being pulled into alignment through sustained, repeated close proximity to a trusted individual. She did not start out sleeping when I slept. She adapted to me. Over 2 years, she shifted her biology to match mine. That does not happen by accident. It requires sustained, repeated, close proximity to one specific person. If your cat is always there when you wake up, and if you can remember a time early on when they were not, they have synchronized to you. Their sleep now follows yours, not because they have to, because they have been close enough to you, long enough, that your rhythm became theirs. Save this one. What I found when I put all of it together is the part that changed everything. I made a list of every warm, quiet, comfortable spot in my apartment: the radiator corner, the window ledge with afternoon sunlight, the soft chair, the bathroom rug that stays warm from the heated floor. I counted 8 options she could reasonably choose on any given night. Then I looked back at 4 weeks of camera data, 112 possible sleeping decisions, and counted how many times she chose each one. When I was home, 112 out of 112 times, she was beside me. She knows where every option is. I watched her use them when I was away. She has surveyed this apartment more thoroughly than I have. She knows. A study on feline sleep site selection, published in the journal Applied Animal Behavior Science, found that when a primary attachment figure is present and accessible, cats with secure attachment consistently choose sleeping proximity to that person over all other available options, including warmer surfaces, softer materials, and more spatially private locations. The study's authors describe this as voluntary social sleep, sleep that is chosen for social rather than environmental reasons, a behavior previously documented primarily in highly social species. Voluntary social sleep. I kept coming back to that phrase, because it means the choice is real. It is not default behavior. It is not the path of least resistance. It is a decision made every single night to be beside you. Every night, your cat makes a choice. There are other options. Warmer options. Quieter options. Options that are not disrupted by your movements, your breathing, or your alarm going off in the morning. And every night they come back to where you are. Here is what I kept coming back to after all of this research. We spend a lot of time thinking about what we give our cats. Food, safety, space, enrichment. We think about what they need from us. We rarely think about what they are choosing to give back. But sleep is the one behavior that cannot be performed. You cannot fake feeling safe enough to close your eyes. Every living creature, every one, is most vulnerable when unconscious. And the choice of where to be vulnerable is the most honest communication a living creature can make. Your cat has surveyed your home. They know every warm corner, every quiet shelf, every spot that catches the afternoon sun and holds the heat into the evening. And every night they walk past all of it and come to where you are. That is not habit. That is not warmth-seeking. That is not the path of least resistance. That is the most honest thing your cat can say to you, delivered in the only way they know how, by choosing, in their most vulnerable moment, to be beside you. Every single night. And if you want to keep understanding what is really happening between you and your cat, the things most cat owners have never had anyone explain to them, subscribe. That is exactly what this channel was built to do.